There's another level of elite in our league of what players look like.
And what's so funny is the media tries to shorten it.
They do.
They try to shorten this gap like it's this, like, oh, he's the best player in the league. Not even close. Just stop. Just stop it. Just stop. Like, so this gap is so big, but you're trying to always replace the next person by putting it back. Like his work, I can look at his game and say, he doesn't understand basketball yet. He plays the sport. He won a championship. Cool. He doesn't really understand how to be great.
Gilbert Arenas has recently came out on some podcasts or interviews or whatever, saying some crazy things, and these are two things I specifically pulled from those interviews that in my opinion are completely just not smart to say, completely out of pocket for someone at his knowledge of basketball should be able to say, or should say in general. The two things we're focusing on that he said as of late is him saying Giannis has no knowledge of basketball, and him saying Larry Bird is not a top 10 player of all time. So let's start with Giannis apparently not knowing the game of basketball, having not much knowledge on it, and his game being all physical apparently. So right now we're going to be looking at his accomplishments and everything he's done, and we'll see if a player with no knowledge of the game of basketball can do these things. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a 6-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA, 2021 champion, and a Finals MVP in that same championship run. A 2-time MVP back-to-back, if I might add. 1-time Defensive Player of the Year, 5-time All-Defensive Team, 1-time Most Improved Player of the Year, and 1-time All-Rookie Team. Okay, that sounds really good, like Hall of Fame level already, and he's still playing. But hold on, before we jump into conclusions, we're gonna go into his past 6 seasons, what he's done in those past 6 seasons. Giannis in these past 6 seasons in the NBA has averaged 27 points per game, 11 rebounds per game, around 5.5 assists per game, around 1.5 blocks per game, a little over a steal a game, shooting 55% from the field, 60% from 2, 58% from his effective field goal percentage, a 6-time All-Star and a 6-time All-NBA in those 6 seasons, has played around 85% of these games in the past 6 seasons, showing he is completely durable and is just not injury prone or anything, puts the work in and gets on the court whenever he can. And also has put up 50 points in a closeout game to win the NBA Finals, to win over the Suns in the 2021 Finals. And in that same 2021 Finals, he averaged 35 points per game, 13 rebounds per game, 5 assists per game, almost 2 blocks per game, around a steal per game, shooting 62% from the field in 6 games to win a championship. Now, if someone could do everything I just listed off with a low understanding of the game of basketball, that person might have been made in the lab. Giannis is already a Hall of Famer if his career was to end right now, and he still has plenty and plenty of years ahead of him, plenty of prime years ahead of him. And to say Giannis doesn't know how to train his body, that's something else he also said, and doesn't know how to be great is a huge, huge slap in the face to him and all the work he put into his craft and into his body since day one of being in the NBA. We've all seen the pictures of him, you know, early in his career, sophomore year, rookie year, super slim, skinny, kind of looks like, you know, early Kevin Durant. And then you look at him now, bulked up, he has muscles everywhere. He just looks like a complete beast, and that's why we call him the Greek Freak. He's like no other player in the NBA as of right now, and Giannis deserves his credit, his respect, and Gilbert Arenas is not giving that to him. That's why I'm calling him out on this. And Giannis, this man is amazing. Already a Hall of Famer, and he definitely has knowledge of basketball. Now with Larry Bird, Gilbert Arenas, this was today when I saw that he had said this, and that actually sparked me to make the video because I had seen what he said about Giannis, but I wasn't gonna make like a whole video on it because I mean, you know, sometimes NBA legends will have like some horrible take that just comes out of nowhere. Kendrick Perkins, Scottie Pippen, like they'll say like random stuff. I'm like, okay, what are they talking about? But you know, that's just, you know, old heads talking about the game and, you know, from their perspective. But Gilbert Arenas attacking someone from the new generation and the old generation. He's not, you know, I don't know what side he's on right now, but he went after Larry Bird, basically said he's not a top 10 player of all time. Now, Larry Bird, I think, is easily a top 10 player of all time. I think his argument was putting Steph Curry over him, which I wouldn't be mad if someone put Steph Curry in their top 10 of all time with him just winning his 4th NBA championship this past season. But I don't think Larry Bird is the right player to replace him with, and here's why. Larry Bird is a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think we all know that. I think Gilbert would even agree with that. He was an all-star every single season of his career, besides one season when he had gotten surgery after like 6 games in the season, finishing him off for the rest of that year. But every other year, that is not a typo, except for one in his 13-year career, he was an NBA All-Star. And from his rookie season up to that season right before he had gotten his surgery, which was a 9-season stretch, he had averaged 25 points per game, 10 rebounds per game, 6 assists per game, almost 2 steals per game, 55% from the field, 38% from the three-point line, 88% from the free throw line, and played 96% of the games during that stretch, which was easily the healthiest he had ever been throughout his career. And after those surgeries on, I think it was like both of his heels or something, I think there was 4 seasons after that, he was never really the same. He was still making all-star teams, like I said before. He was still an all-star throughout his whole career except for one season. But you can definitely tell he was never the same player, and injuries just riddled him throughout the rest of his career. After the surgeries and everything in the beginning of the year, just never the same. Unfortunate, but even through that small, patch of years in his prime, he's already a first ballot Hall of Famer just because of that. And quick note, the scoring was way different back then compared to today's game. Teams were not scoring 120 points like they are now back in the 80s and everything, where Larry Bird was in his prime. So when you look at 25 points per game, you're like, that's not like super mind-blowing or anything. Well, just keep in mind, the offense wasn't what it is today. 25 points per game was one of the best in the league. Today it's like 30 points and above. If you're averaging 30 points per game, that's when you consider someone an elite scorer. But back then, 25 points per game was still very, very impressive. One of the better scorers in the league. So just, a quick note just to keep in mind. Now back to that 9-year stretch where it was his rookie season up to that season right before the surgeries and everything. He averaged in the playoffs now 25.5 points per game, almost 11 rebounds per game, around 6.5 assists per game, almost 2 steals per game, on 47% from the field, 35% from the three-point line, 89% from the free throw line, winning 3 championships with the Celtics, being a Finals MVP in 2 of those 3 rings he had won. And from the 1984 Finals to the 1987 Finals, Bird had led the Celtics to 4 straight finals, only losing 2 of them to the Showtime Lakers led by Magic Johnson. And of course, that rivalry alone saved the entire NBA. That's a story for another time. Larry Bird also has accomplishments like no other in NBA history, having 3 MVPs all back-to-back-to-back, being the only player in NBA history to win 3 MVPs back-to-back, and 2 Finals MVPs like I said earlier, and 3 championships, 1980 Rookie of the Year, 12-time All-Star in 13 years like I said earlier, 10-time All-NBA, 3-time All-Defensive Team, and many, many awards from his college years and coaching career. Larry Bird has done so much for the game, and without a doubt a top 10 player of all time in my opinion. I think it's pretty hard to argue he's not. He's made the Celtics a household name, and that rivalry between him and Magic Johnson basically saved the NBA like I said earlier, and if it wasn't for him, the league would be a totally different league. Who knows, the league might not even be here if it wasn't for that rivalry. Gilbert, you were great during your time, but please, do not be disrespecting legends, future legends, and anyone in between, especially when it's a bunch of nonsense. Giannis definitely knows basketball. He definitely has much knowledge of basketball. And Larry Bird, let's not go after Larry Bird talking about he's not a top 10 player of all time. You have a right to your opinion. I'm not going to say you're completely wrong, but I'm just giving my side and what I think. And if you agree or disagree, or you're on the fence with what I'm saying, put it down in the comments below. If you liked the video, hit the like button, subscribe button, notification bell, so you can be notified as soon as I upload. And I hope to see you guys in the next one. Peace out.